College football returns to Hattiesburg.
Everybody's hungry and just ready to play.
Southern Miss has some unfinished business.
The only thing we want to do is win the championship and go to a big bowl game.
This year's schedule is not for the weak.
You know, we've got the toughest Group of 5 schedule in America.
A new quarterback ready to prove himself.
I think my work ethic is going to pay dividends for me one day.
A new defensive leader looks to revive the nasty bunch.
It's more about being tighter in coverage and closing windows and giving opportunities to guys up front to go eat and go get the quarterback.
Coach Will Hall on a mission entering his 3rd season.
Let's go! Let's go!
Tonight, WDAM 7 Sports showcases USM football. Plus, we catch up with the masters of morale who take school spirit to the highest level.
Everybody has been so excited and waiting for that first game.
Strength, strategy, and a little bit of silly.
I was just flying around everywhere and they kind of gave me the name Avatar, you know.
Oh, I got the nickname Rambo.
All next in Southern Miss Football 2023, a season to soar. On the wings of the school's first bowl win since 2016, the Golden Eagles soar into the 2023 season on a mission.
Southern Miss is determined to take a leap forward and establish themselves as a contender in the Sun Belt Conference. USM enters year 3 of the Will Hall era, riding high off a 7-win season. In the upcoming year ahead, there's some tough opponents on the calendar.
It's competitive week in and week out, so it's obviously a really good football conference. And one that, gave us an opportunity to have great exposure.
It's a schedule we got to get up every week.
Heading into year 2 in the Sun Belt, Southern Miss has one of the most competitive schedules in the country. The journey begins at The Rock in week 1, when the Golden Eagles host Alcorn State. Will Hall's group will pack up and head for Tallahassee in week 2, in perhaps the toughest test of the season. USM will meet Florida State at the ever-powerful Doak Campbell Stadium. The AP preseason poll ranks the Seminoles as the 8th best team in the entire country. As the non-conference slate continues, Southern Miss heads back home to fight for the bell against Tulane. The Golden Eagles will look to retain possession of the prize after winning it in upset fashion on the road last season. Week 4 sees the start of Sun Belt Conference play. The coaches' poll predicted USM to finish 4th in the West, one spot higher from where they finished last season. Southern Miss opens in Jonesboro against Arkansas State, followed by back-to-back home games against Texas State and Old Dominion. Week 7 gives us the Battle of Highway 98. The Golden Eagles pay a visit to South Alabama in Tuesday night primetime action. The Jaguars are a feisty bunch for USM. The West Division champions are coming off of a 10-win season, and Southern Miss has yet to beat them in their small share of 3 meetings. Up next on the calendar brings Appalachian State. USM gets a first-hand taste at Kid Brewer Stadium as they travel up north to the mountains. The following week, the Warhawks of ULM come to the Hub City for another Sun Belt West clash. Soon after, USM takes the spotlight once more in Week 10. The Golden Eagles headline a Thursday night meeting with the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns in Lafayette. Week 11 on November 18th showcases an in-state battle of Magnolia schools. For the first time since 2019, Southern Miss takes a trip up to Starkville, going toe-to-toe with Mississippi State. The Golden Eagles head into Cowbell Country looking to snap a 34-year winless streak against the Bulldogs. The best is always saved for last. The Sun Belt Conference champion Troy Trojans come to the Rock in the final game of the regular season. The Golden Eagles know they'll be entering the Lions' Den in 2023. It's one of the toughest schedules that USM has seen in recent memory. Head coach Will Hall's group is confident, however, as they look to improve on last year's 7-win season. A fresh face is in at quarterback for Southern Miss this season. Billy Wiles battled all throughout fall camp to win the job over his transfer mate, Holman Edwards. Weil sits down to discuss his collegiate career and his eventual path to Hattiesburg. Coming from Virginia, you were a state champion in high school. You go to Clemson and you choose to walk on. You had scholarship offers from a lot of D1 programs, but you chose to go to Clemson. What kind of factored into that decision to walk on?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of factors that went into that decision. A big one for me was just wanting to kind of bet on myself and prove to myself and people around me that I could play at that level. And I feel like even though I never got a start there and was never the starter, I feel like I did prove that to myself. Just with being able to play with those guys and just learning so much in that system and in that program, I feel like is a big step up for me.
After the walk-on year, you earned a scholarship. So how do you think that whole process defined you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a big confidence boost for me, knowing that I could do that and that Coach Sweeney trusted me with that scholarship. And yeah, I just think that confidence could continue to build for me as I go through college football, and that was just a big step for me and a big confidence boost.
And then after Clemson, you entered the portal. What drew you to Hattiesburg? What was that process like?
First of all, my connection with Coach Hall goes way back to my junior year of high school when I was committed to Tulane for I think 7 or 8 months. And then he ended up coming here. I ended up going to Clemson, and then when I got in the portal, he was one of the first people to reach out. Coach Hall and I had a great relationship when I was committed to him at Tulane. So when I reached out, I knew that there'd be a really good chance I'd be down here. Just Coach Hall, he's an unbelievable coach. He's a genius, and then he's also a great person. So that was a big draw for me.
The quarterback battle is always one of the most intriguing. Of course, for the media to talk about, but for the fans and the whole team in general as well.
I mean, I think it's taught me how to work. I think my work ethic is gonna pay dividends for me one day. I've played a few snaps my freshman year, obviously not a lot. So that experience thing is one thing for me, and I think the awesome thing about this program is in practice we go against the defense so much, it's almost a game-like experience. So just learning on the fly, really learning in practice, learning in meetings, just learning more about football is going to be huge for me, and I've already learned so much since I've been here. I'm excited to keep learning.
So tell me, what are the Golden Eagles going to get with Billy Wells as a starting quarterback?
A winner. I think I've proven that in high school. I've come from a winning program. I had to work hard to just be noticed at my last school. So carrying that kind of chip on my shoulder mentality and just working hard here is awesome.
The name O'Brien is well known among college football circles, but maybe not so much in Hattiesburg. Dan O'Brien, the son of a longtime coach, begins his first season as USM's defensive coordinator.
You basically want to be the most physical people on the field at all times. Whether it be run or pass, you want to hit you in the mouth and never stop. Tire them out, make them give up. And when they gasp for air, we still going full speed.
Dan O'Brien has the right personnel to play out his philosophy on defense. Stay tight in coverage and let the big boys up front go eat. He wants the Golden Eagles to play with their hair on fire, but O'Brien remains cool as a cucumber on the sideline.
There's times where I think you gotta bring that fire, but to me, there's so much within a game that you got to process in your head as a coordinator. I guess it's the way my mind works there in terms of trying to always prepare for the next thing that could possibly come.
O'Brien no doubt gets his stoic presence from his father Tom, who coached college football for 40 years, including 10 at Boston College, where O'Brien graduated and decided he'd like to follow in Pop's footsteps.
I mean, I used to invite his players to my birthday party when I was a little kid. It was just one of those things that you just grow up in that kind of lifestyle. My dad always told me, he said, if you're going to work on the defensive side, you better coach the secondary because that's where you're going to learn everything from back to front.
That's where O'Brien started at Southern Miss in 2021, coaching safeties, before earning the promotion in January to defensive coordinator.
We're in the red zone. He don't want anybody in the end zone. I think he's a very smart guy. He knows all his stuff. So it's really just up to us to buy into what he wants us to do and us to execute the job.
Lots of same as, and everything looks the same, but all the different things compile together to form like a greater game plan to where you never know what we're throwing at you. We're so glad that he got that position, that opportunity, and he's proven why he got the job.
O'Brien had a pretty good mentor, and one lesson he learned is relationships are more important than any X's and O's.
Obviously, you want them to have as much success on the field as they can, but there's life outside of football. Wherever you can help these kids is I think, the biggest thing that we try to do, because, you know, with Coach Hall, it's a culture of love around here.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to catch up, or at least try, he's pretty fast, with fan favorite Frank Gore Jr.
I'm not done. I feel like I have a long way to go.
Who's the best dancer on the team?
Either Markel McLaurin or Ty Mims.
Antavius Willis.
Frog, Latrell Jones, he just put some moves on in there. Kenyon Clay, he be dancing all the time. He like a Terry Crews, old dude.
I used to be pretty good at the Dougie, I'm not gonna lie. I started playing lineman, my knee started aching, I couldn't do that no more. Occasionally, on the right surface with socks on, I can moonwalk.
He does talk about it, I hadn't seen it yet.
Who's the worst dancer on the team?
I never seen Caston dance. Swayze Boulder.
Worst dancer, it'll probably be me.
Oh.
Looking at him. I got no dance moves in the bag.
I think you got the funniest dance, Matt Ross.
Can you maybe describe it for me?
You just gotta say it with your own eyes, man.
You're watching Southern Miss Football 2023, a season to soar.
Frank Gore Jr. is perhaps the most nationally recognized player on the Southern Miss roster. The son of a future NFL Hall of Famer has built a legacy right here in Hattiesburg that he hopes to grow. Just arriving here on campus all those years ago, what was kind of like the biggest difference you saw about being here in Hattiesburg?
From Miami, you know, it's the fast life. Everything's always going fast. Like, things happen right after. But now being here, you get to sit down and think. And just think about what you want your future to be, what you want the day to be, and what you want the next day to be. So I feel like I got to think a lot, and being in my thoughts is very beneficial for me.
I remember reading an article saying, of course, you know, your dad has helped you so much. You're a little bit faster, right? And just wondering, like, are there any other running backs in the pro level that you try to emulate besides your dad?
I grew up watching LaShawn McCoy, cut on the dime, what he called himself. So I try to take that to my game, being able to make people miss. And then I don't try to model my game after anyone. I try to play my own game, but like also taking notes from everyone, like what he do good, and just try to put it all in my game and to make it complete.
How do you feel like you set yourself apart?
I'm not done. I feel like I have a long way to go. I mean, last year was I wouldn't call it a winning season, but we won a bowl game. But I feel like I want to put this program over the top and then bring us a championship, because I feel like we all deserve it. The coaches deserve it. My teammates most definitely deserve it. So I just feel like it's time to get over that hump.
To take a little bit of a deeper dive into that, you had a really good performance in that bowl game. A lot of national attention afterwards, and you know, good season numbers-wise and everything. You put them up being here, and it's no secret. A lot of college programs across the country luring kids with, you know, somehow, some way to jump programs. But you've stayed, right? You're going to stay for your senior season. Why stay in Hattiesburg? You know, what's kind of been driving you to stay here?
We're a family. My teammates, I love them like brothers. My coaches, it's funny because me and my teammates always laugh at me, like they call Coach Hall my dad, and I call him Pop. So it's like I just have a complete, strong loyalty to my teammates. And it's also like I feel like we're connected because we all been through the lowest. So I feel like I know in my group of guys, we're not going to fold when our back's against the wall. So I feel like, and I know I don't want to fold. So going somewhere else, having to just figure everything out again, I feel like that wasn't worth it. And then my senior year, I get to graduate from this great university. One of the first, not the first, but one of the first in my family. So I didn't want to jeopardize something so small to when I built this thing so big already.
Hayes Maples is about as Southern Miss as you can get. The Oak Grove grad enters his 6th year on USM's campus, and after missing last season with a knee injury, he's making up for lost time.
It's really just whenever you get out there on that game day and you know you can't strap it up with the guys, that's when it really hurts the most.
Not being a part of the wins was tough. Not being able to help during the losses, even tougher. It was a long season on the sidelines for Hayes Maples, who suffered a knee injury toward the end of fall camp last year. So when most Golden Eagles were suffering through the heat of this year's camp, Hayes was soaking up every second.
I think I learned just how much I love the game of football. Like missing out on the season. It's the first season I missed playing since I've started playing the game when I was a kid. And so, it really just let me realize how much I love this game and to never take it for granted, never take a play for granted, never take a practice for granted. And it helped out going through these fall camp practices where some days it's hard to get out there and get it going, but it's just like, man, you never know when it'll be your last practice, your last play, so go out there and enjoy it.
That's been Hayes' attitude throughout his 6 years at Southern Miss. From coaching changes to losing seasons, Hayes was never going to give up on the Golden Eagles.
I love Southern Miss, man. I love Southern Miss football. I've been coming to games as a fan. I've been watching Southern Miss football since I was a kid. I grew up coming to the Rock, watching those great defenses back in the day, and that's what I want to do. I want to get this team back great again. I want to win a conference championship. I want to go to a good bowl game and just get that football atmosphere back to how it was back in the day.
Keeping the Southern Miss spirit is the main job for this high-flying squad. We catch up with another team on the sidelines who will be working hard for the players and fans.
Peace. Red beans and rice.
My grandma's gumbo. Probably a good steak from Sully's.
The Kings.
Hibachi.
Movie Star. They got meatloaf. Sometimes their cabbage is really good. Turnip greens, baked beans. They got this dirt pie that's really good. Really, I ain't gonna lie, you can't go wrong with Movie Star.
You're watching Southern Miss Football 2023, a season to soar.
From sweat and tears to chants and cheers, the Southern Miss cheer team is working hard, preparing for the upcoming season. And this year, head coach Carlos Stokes is leading a team of newcomers.
It's a very new team this year. There's like 42 of them, so I looked at them the other morning and I was like, that's a lot of y'all, but really super impressed with my vets and really taking them literally under their wing and really guiding the athletes to what they need to be doing.
Sporting new uniforms and loads of enthusiasm, they're preparing to hit the field to support USM.
I'm looking forward to game days because, you know, the football team's supposed to be great this year, and like we do have such a great team, and so I'm really excited to see that on the sidelines, and I know everybody has been so excited and waiting for that first game, and I just can't wait. It's such a surreal feeling, so I just know it's going to be a great experience.
From cheer camp to early morning practices, the team has worked hard making sure they're in tip-top shape when the season begins. Senior Kaylee Weaver has spent much of her summer mentoring the younger girls.
I definitely am excited because I get to be a leader. I'm older, and so a lot of them get to come to me and ask me for like corrections before we get corrections from coaches, so it's really awesome, and I'm glad that they can look up to me.
And Coach Stokes says that this year's approach to the season has been positivity, and that mindset is producing great results.
When you meet them, you understand. There's no words to describe them. It's a really fun group. We're one big happy family, and that's what I love about Southern Miss Cheer.
The Rock got a facelift this summer. Southern Miss laid down brand new turf just in time for a new season, a project that took just over a month and cost around $750,000. The field is expected to last at least 10 years. The Cool Play system comes from Field Turf, the same company that installed the turf over at Pete Taylor Park, and is meant to improve drainage and help reduce injuries. The upgrades include new logo placement and 2 new goalposts, a sharp-looking design Golden Eagle fans and players are sure to enjoy.
Up next, you see their real names on the roster, but what do their coaches and teammates call them? We'll find out some of those Golden Eagle nicknames that kind of just found a way to stick around.
I was going to say proud because literally everybody called him that. People might not even know his real name. And we here at WDAM 7 want to make sure you're always in the know when it comes to the forecast for the USM game, whether it's at home or away. We are always here for you with the WDAM 7 First Alert Weather app. Easy to use. You can program it for wherever you need to, whether it's here in the Pine Belt for radar, temperatures, hour-by-hour forecast. It's always there for you. And even if the team is on the road, no worries there. You can change your program. You can change the city. Just click the little hourglass there, and you can find the city of your choice all over the nation. That way you're always in the know when the Golden Eagles are playing.
You're watching Southern Miss Football 2023, a season to soar. The 2023 Southern Miss football schedule might look a bit like a throwback. Schools like Louisiana Lafayette, Tulane, Mississippi State, and Florida State were regular opponents back in the day. In fact, USM beat all four of those guys in 1981, taking care of the Cajuns in Green Wave to open the year before squeaking past the Bulldogs 7-6 in front of 64,000 fans in Jackson. The highlight came the following week when the Golden Eagles dominated Florida State 58-14. The Seminoles had no answer for quarterback Reggie Collier. Southern Miss finished the year 9-2-1, earning its first top 10 ranking in school history.
These are the teams and the games that people can relate to, who've been fans for 20 years, 30 years, or even longer than that.
When Saturday rolls around, many of you will be grabbing for these programs, looking at the Southern Miss roster, trying to learn all the new names.
But what do their teammates know them by? We found out the best nicknames on the USM roster. Check it out.
Not only is Coach Will Hall tasked with remembering the names of 100-some-odd football players, he's got to learn the nicknames too, and there's a lot of them.
Frank Gore's Jeezy, Michael Caraway goes by Kool-Aid, Avery Hobbs, the Machine. Let's see here.
Let's see if your players can help you out, Coach.
John Bowling, right guard, Sauce. I'm thinking Tank. He's 6'7", so he literally is a tank,
I've been called Brother Bose before by Hayes Puckett. That's what he calls me all the time.
Jerquan Scott, the old lineman, call him the Don.
He just started calling me Quan the Don.
Some have multiple.
Holman Edwards has a lot of good nicknames. There's about 8. Okay. Holman Nation, Holmanator, Spencer from one of them, Yellowstone.
Some inspired by Hollywood.
I was just flying around everywhere, and they kind of gave me the name Avatar,
Oh, I got the nickname Rambo from my high school coach, Coach Meach. It was a game we were playing against Tylertown. I just went off, and he was like, "That's Rambo right there."
I call Rambo Rambunctious. Okay. That's a change up.
But who has the best nickname for Southern Miss? There's some debate about that.
Rat, me. Not Dracula. Rat.
It fits him perfect because he basically the size of one. Don't tell him I said that. But
Latrell Jones is Frog.
I was going to say Frog because literally everybody call him that. People might not even know his real name. He don't even know how he got his nickname.
I got to get the real answer, but I know my grandma named me that.
Coach Hall has his theories.
Because he was just hopped around when he was a little kid.
But there's one alias that takes the cake. Or the pork.
Caleb Gardner, sausage.
Sausage.
He has sausage and he also has pork chop.
Caleb is pretty much any part of a pig that you can name. You call him ham, pork chop, sausage, bratwurst.
Getting called a piece of meat, I mean, I don't know.
About that, I have a lot of nicknames. They come up with them and, call me, and I just go along with it to have a good time, it's all fun.
It's not that you were eating pork chops.
Oh, no. I mean, I do like pork chops, but it's not from that, no.
That's all I got right now.
Okay, those are good ones.
Thank you all for stopping by The Rock and taking a walk with us as we count down the hours to the Golden Eagles season opener.
Be sure to join us every Saturday for game time as we highlight Southern Miss football throughout the season. Southern Miss to the top!